Hey, aloha everyone. So I'm here to update you guys with something that I should have updated you guys a long time ago, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. Sorry. Like it was shortly after I made the video that I made of when the Senator Kidani and the Free Palestine thing at the community college. So, update for everyone is that professor, I guess they pulled her in and they had a discussion with her about her syllabus because she completely revamped her syllabus and she is no longer focusing on Islam, but like she decided to venture into other areas of the Middle East and she added Judaism to it. So that's a win. But there's another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Yes, I feel tired because I don't know. It's unbelievable. I came on to the videotaping. I came on to my live with you guys. And shortly after, I met someone from my one of my friends on here, and he took a picture of me. And after that, like, I couldn't have a fucking good night's sleep. I mean, there was noise fucking everywhere. You know? And this person, every time they see me, the first thing they want to do is ask me about where I'm working. And shortly after I tell the person where I'm working, something go wrong at work. So I feel like that's what intentional fucking shit that's what's going on. But that's not the reason why I'm coming on. It's just fucking, can you guys fucking stop? Can you guys fucking stop you guys fucking stupid ass, dumb ass shit? Why don't mind you guys' own fucking life? So you guys stop making trouble to everybody else. But anyways, getting back to the original topic. Last night, I know it's been several years since October 7th, and you know what, I'm not just talking about it because, you know, because I wear the Star of David, because, you know, Judaism is my religion and so forth, my lifestyle. But yeah, when you see me, don't touch me. This fucking guy came to hug me and I was like if you guys know anything about the religion, there's a part of the religion where males don't touch females, and I like it that way. So when you see me, just say hi. Yeah, just please, for the sake of my belief, just fucking say hi. Just, you know, I can still aloha to females. It's just, you know, there's a distinct separation between males and females, and it's because, you know, there's reasons for that. Just, if I cringe when you come towards me and you're a male, it's not that I think you're ugly. It's not that I think I don't, you know, that I don't like you. I probably might not like you, but I'm still gonna be nice. But it's because there's a separation between the two, male and female. So the only, yeah, there is a separation. You don't touch. For certain people, not all forms of Judaism, but anyway, the form that I like best is the one where you don't touch me. So aside from that, the reason why I'm coming on and I'm talking to you guys about, you know, the spread of Islam, radical Islam, not all Islam, okay, because there are, you know, parts of the Islamic community that are very peaceful, and that's, you know, I think they're called the Sunni tribe, but they're peaceful, they're not radicalized. Maybe they might have little factions of radicalism, but for the most part they kind of kick them out, you know, because they don't want any of that. They're really bad news. But I read the UN's report on what happened on October 7th and the scale of attack that they had on Israel. And Israel is small. I mean, if you put my thumb on the map over Israel, like, my thumb is bigger than, you know, their is bigger than the drawing of their land on a map. So the way these Palestinians attacked Israel and the things that they did to them is a fucking nightmare. And it's amazing how there's so many women screaming free Palestine when you have no fucking clue what Palestine did to Israel. And I'm not talking about Hamas. Okay, I'm not talking about Hamas. I am talking about the civilians. The civilians joined in with Hamas, and they're civilians, they're not militants. They joined in with Hamas to capture the female civilians, or civilians in general that they could take, and sell them to Hamas. And the reason why they're doing this, people, and this is the one thing that you really have to really zero in on, is why they did it. It's not because you were oppressing me for so long. It's not because you enclosed me in a location. Matter of fact, that you see that whole like fenced off deal, it was to protect Israel from their attacks, but also because they didn't want to be part or have any peaceful agreements between Israel and them, because they're radicalized jihadi. So radicalized jihadi, the ones that all those people are protesting free Palestine. They don't give a fuck about Jewish people, nor do they give a fuck about anybody who's not Islamic. They don't care who you are. They only want to dominate the world. That's their whole objective. They wrote a fucking manual of how they was going to take over the world. And you see it happening right now. And the thing about it is they're not discreet about it anymore. Matter of fact, if you look up on YouTube, you're going to see that their priest or their leader guys proclaiming how they're destroying the Western civilizations. In their manual, they had steps on how to destroy the Western civilization. It was one, to I guess you want to hear colonism at its fucking finest. You got to read that manual. They would colonize their enemies in their own land, take over leadership and political roles, attack the institutions by feeding them curriculum that would degenerate them and make them turn against each other. So basically their whole objective, one of their objectives, was to create a civil war between within the United States. And you see it happening, Democrats against Republicans, and free Palestine, and you have the people on the left and the right. That was their plan. Their plan was to create chaos within the country. And if I'm not mistaken, and this came to me through prayer, is that the only way anyone can harm our country would be to create separation within the country. United we stand, divided we fall. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at my videos, because I said it. Like, I think this shit was in play for a while, and only now it's coming to fruition. And after reading the script on UN's investigation, bruh, you guys, never mind, put that freaking free Palestine bullshit concept to the side. And anyone who is pushing for free Palestine and those protests and against Israel, it's not about Israel, guys. It's not. It isn't. Israel is the. They're trying to use Israel as a guinea pig. After Israel, gonna be the rest of the world. So when you guys say Israel is bad for wanting to blow up fucking the IRGC, or Israel is bad for bombing out fucking Palestine, you don't understand that Israel is not. Israel is protecting the world, the Western civilization. They're taking the brunt end of the fucking stick. How is this that they take over Gaza, but yet who gets the fucking say about who oversees the land? Okay, if our country didn't step in, it would be Turkey, it would be, what is that? Egypt. And they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. Egypt didn't do shit. Fucking Iran didn't do shit. Iran is a fucking problem. All these other guys that stepped in after and they're like, no, don't give it to Israel. Well, Israel cleaned up your fucking mess, and you guys want to take the credit for that? You guys want to reap the harvest? How unfucking fair is that? Israel cleans up their fucking mess that they couldn't contain and they couldn't get together and they couldn't straighten out. But yet, they want to oversee that land. Personally, I think in historic belief, if you look through biblical history, Gaza belonged to Israel. Well, not Israel, but Judah. Gaza belonged to Judah. Judah is Israel. That's the whole section right there is Israel. Gaza belonged to Judah. Matter of fact, the person who actually rightfully owns Gaza should be Israel. If you look through at it and you're talking about indigenous peoples, if you're talking about indigenous peoples, yeah, Gaza belongs to Israel. But look at this. Gaza actually belongs to Egypt. Israel cleans up their fucking mess in Gaza, and they have a say all of a sudden as to what happens to Gaza. Oh, because it's a Muslim country. Muslim country, my fucking ass. You guys couldn't even do anything about it. You guys couldn't get it together. You guys couldn't. You could not control your fucking people. Here comes Israel cleaning up your damn mess, and then you all of a sudden want to lead. When it's apparent, it's fucking clear as day that they cannot. They cannot. But that attack on Israel on October 7th, that's on small scale to what they probably planned for us. And if you read the context of what they did to their citizens, if you read how they attacked, that shit was fucking militant. And I'm talking about either they was watching a lot of military videos and taking notes, or somebody would train them. Bless you. So, put down the manners. Arm yourself up. Start working out. Go get some self-defense. Get involved in some self-defense groups. And all of those of you that I knew from boxing, from fighting, from karate, whatever, train. Because if this shit, if they're planning on doing the same shit that they did to fucking Israel, to us, at least we're gonna have a fighting chance. But if you guys keep being degenerate motherfuckers that fighting against gun rights, that don't want your Second Amendment rights, I'll tell you what, if people were armed on that day, they would have had a living chance. Nobody was armed. Nobody expected it. It was a holiday. And that's when they hit Israel. They always hit Israel on a holiday. And that's why for me, I kind of get antsy when I get holidays. But I picked up some weight. I am going to start fucking working out. Not because I look pretty, because that never was a fucking topic. But because I want to, if anything happens, guys, if anything pops off, and I don't care where in the fucking continental states you are. You can be in Hawaii, you can be in mainland. Matter of fact, I think it'll probably be worse if you're on the mainland. If you're on the mainland, you better go bear arms. Stop fighting against your Second Amendment rights. Stop. Do you understand that their manual was, part of their manual and part of their plan was to disarm America? All these people who wanted to ban the guns might have been part of it. All these people who wanted to ban guns and take your Second Amendment rights away was probably part of it, or probably they were manipulated to do so, because their fucking manual will blow your mind, and you see it kind of happening today. So if I were you, prepare like you're about to live off grid. Get your ass in shape and bear arms. Have something on you. Have something on you, because if they do what they did to Israel, to the United States, ladies, you're not safe. Every woman standing outside protesting free Hamas or free Palestine, do you know what they did to the women? And not just at the Nova Festival. They did this to all the women. And you know, the thing about it is, after reading the report, in the report it said that the ones that was captured, the Hamas people that were, the Hamas militants that were captured, that was their order. Their order was to rape the women. That was, they were ordered to do that. So you see all the London rapings, they're probably ordered to do it. And that's why it's really important in Hawaii that we don't let that shit come here. Fight that shit as much as you can, as we can. Resist it. Even if you have some powerful fucking person from there offering you money to buy land here, in our Hawaii, in our state, do not take it. No matter, there's no amount of money that can make up for what they're going to do. Because what they do is they go into states, they buy land, then they bring all their immigrants over. And those are the ones that try to take over that state. Please, senators, representatives, fucking OHA. I know some of you guys are going to freaking Saudi Arabia. Do not sell our land to them. Because that's how it begins. That's the beginning of their takeover plan. Texas was smart enough to ban Sharia law. Texas was smart enough to call that brotherhood an enemy because they were buying up the land in Texas. Do not let them buy up the land. Sell it to fucking Japan. Sell it to fucking Korea. Sell it to anybody else but our enemies. Because that's going to be one hub for them to build their community. And then they're going to outpopulate us. The thing about that, they're like, I know this is one stereotype, but this is the only thing that I can think of that you guys can process. I think you guys will be able to process. You know the 4th-generation Filipino homes, the monster homes, where they just freaking keep like expanding their home, and you get 5 or 4 generations in there, but they all have a pot of money and they're all working inside the home. They all start businesses inside businesses, and the next thing you know, they're pretty well off. That's the same concept that they use. I'm not saying that, all of them well off, okay? I'm just saying, let's stick to the concept of building in the family generational home. That's how they operate in their families. And they do it in a way where they build a family, but all of the money that they make goes into one pot. And their focus is on making money. So when you have a full neighborhood, and this is the thing that's going on in Minnesota, and I think outside of New York, inside of New York, fucking New York is fucking Muslim town already. But they establish a generational home, and then they buy out property, and they buy out real estate, and then they bring their community of immigrants into those properties, and that's where all of these terrorists congregate. So to begin with, the person who comes over is from one of those, most likely from one of those terrorist groups, and they're only expanding their terrorist headquarters in that state, in that one location. So, I know we all like to make money out there, but for the sake of Hawaii, do not sell our land out to people who will try to take us over. You know what I'm saying? Because they tried to do that to Korea, and Korea said, "You guys too violent to our women. Get out of our country, and take your religion with you." Japan, same thing. They were too violent to the women. The women would just be passing by and they would smack the shit out of them. And Japan said, "You know what? Screw you. Get out of our country. Get your religion out of our country too. Don't come back." Now Hawaii, don't think that they did not look at our state. This is when paradise, no more snakes. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got no snakes. There's a lot of less dangers than they have to deal with. But don't sell our land and our property and our real estate to them. Because one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be subject to their laws. Their whole objective is to turn each state into a Muslim state that follows Sharia law. Sharia. So if you don't know what that is, right now is a good time to go and check it out. To actually look it up and see what it actually is. Because it's no laughing matter, it's no joke. This thing is a dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous culture, especially for women. And also for men too, because they were raping not just the women, they were raping the men too. But their orders were to rape the women. They were ordered to rape the women. They raped not just the women, but the children too. So I'm not speaking out of secondhand information. Well, maybe the UN can be considered secondhand information, but then they did a thorough investigation. They did a thorough investigation on what they did and their findings. The news downplays it. They're not really exposing the full content of what Palestine, what Hamas did to Israel. They're not disclosing everything. If you find out and you read that report, and I highly recommend, if you are a person who likes reading, you're not going to like reading that, but it'll be well worth knowing what really happened. It'll be well worth knowing what really, really happened on that day, because they're downplaying it in the media. In the media, they're downplaying it big time. What really happened would break your heart. There wasn't, I think, a good majority, sorry, that was a phone call coming in. A good majority of me reading that investigation, I was crying. Like tears were swelling up in my eyes, and I was thinking, how can people do that? How can people be such monsters and so heartless and just evil? If you want to see pure evil, read that UN report. The reason why we were reading the UN report, that I was reading the UN report, is because we were going to send is for another reason, but it came across, I guess God, he puts things in a person's lap for a reason, and then this is probably why, because he's trying to warn everybody right now that if we don't pay attention and if we don't block this from coming onto our island chain, then we're going to be screwed, because their whole objective is to take over the world. It's not just to live, it's to take over the world. And you know what? The thing about it is, this is one part of the investigation that stood out. You know that there's a distinction between, Palestinians and Israeli, right? So Israeli, you speak Hebrew. The Palestinians, they speak Arabic. And they were all talking Arabic, and they went silent. Okay, picture this. A bunch of people hiding because they're unarmed. They're scared. They're not militant. They're peaceful. But they want to stay alive. They're hiding. And you know what Hamas did? They stayed silent for maybe a good amount of time, and then they spoke Hebrew. And they asked, is anyone out here? As if they were like first responders. So they spoke Hebrew so that people would respond, so that they could kill them. With that kind of tactic, they're two-faced. So if you know anybody and they're telling you, help me support Free Palestine because that's my people and this and that, and they're explaining to you, they're pulling on your fucking heartstrings, they're fucking with you. In their religion, anyone who's not Islamic, anyone who's not Islam, they can lie to them, and it's not a sin. in Christianity, in Judaism, if we lie to you intentionally, that's a sin. If we lie to you unintentionally, it's still a sin, but it was something that can be, you know, forgiven really easily because you, out of ignorance, you know, maybe you didn't understand what the question was, maybe, you know, you felt unsafe, you know. But in this one, if you lie to somebody who's not Islam in their religion, that's not a sin. So if you're not Muslim, they can lie to you with a straight face because you ain't part of them and you ain't nothing but a dog or a pig. They don't look at you as a human being because in their scriptures, they're told that person's not a human being. That person is an animal because they're not Islamists. They're not Muslim. So if anybody on top of here, which I know maybe might have someone who was Muslim in here, if I am wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But you know what? Because you live on this land, and if you are American Muslim or Islamist or whatever, if you're American, they can kill you too. Just saying. As long as you live on America and you're not part of the jihadi, you're done too. Because they did the same thing to the Palestinians that were working in Israel. There was a lot of Palestinians. Matter of fact, these Palestinians, they worked in Israel. They went across to the border to work in Israel. And they were going to go back home. But because they were on the Israeli land, they killed them. Matter of fact, they took them out. The ones that was from Palestine, that was there just to work, they pulled them out, beat the shit out of them just for being there, and then shot them in the fucking head. So don't think, oh, that's my people not gonna harm me. No, fuck that. If you American, if you got an American citizenship, if you practice Muslim and you're not part of the jihadi shit, they can kill you too. Matter of fact, even if you do practice it, they can kill you. Because that's part of their plan. Jihadi and regular Muslim are not the same. Different perspectives. So you're not safe. So the best thing for you to do is remember what your citizenship is and take precautions. Nobody said that you cannot pray. You can pray if you are, but just know that your life is in danger too, just for being here. So you might as well learn how to fight against them too. Yeah. And I'm talking about if you are in the government and you have no clue what the fuck is going on and you don't want to be part of that shit, don't switch over, because the power is still here. You understand? But I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Bruh, if they're gonna attack our country, be prepared. Stop fighting against the Second Amendment rights and pick up and bear arms. Pick up, bear arms, go get in shape, and be awake. Don't be asleep. Stay guarded, because things are oh man, just reading that fucking report is crazy. Knowing that they made a threat to our country too. Iran, IRGC. So the reason why disarming IRGC and actually flipping their fucking government is important is because IRGC is the ones that pay Hamas. They're the ones that gave the fucking order to Hamas, Hezbollah, and all those other terrorist groups. They're being funded by IRGC. So it's probably in the world's best interest to, one, disarm IRGC so that they have no ballistic missiles, disarm them so that they have no nuclear weapons, and fucking take that guy that is a lead out of, put that fucking guy in prison. Because if not, if they do have nuclear capabilities and they do have those ballistic missiles, don't think for a fucking moment that they're not going to turn those missiles on us and we're going to be the next fucking target. We might be the next October 7th. Majority of the professionals, especially like high-end law enforcement, which I'm not going to say, even they say that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So people, Never mind all the small bullshit. This is for real. With that, love, peace, and love. I'll check you guys later.